as an instructor, right? Because you're going to be doing classes, and apparently you brought Duff in to do some classes.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? So what's that going to be like for Duff? You want to give him a little heads up on what to expect?
Teach me, teach.
It's gonna be busy.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Twitch Creative Spotlight. I'm Joe, otherwise known as GamerDad.
And I'm Neil. You can call me Duff, ImpendingDuff. Just don't call me late for dinner. And we're joined here by Lynn, Metalhead Minis. Welcome, Lynn. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tonight we're going to cover just general conventions. Specifically, we're going to get into GenCon, since that's kind of a big deal right now. I don't know. They might have just started, didn't registration just open?
Yes, it did.
Yep.
Sunday noontime.
Oh, wow.
People were getting antsy by like 6 or 7 a.m. and sitting there asking why it wasn't there yet, and then didn't realize that there was this thing called time zones.
Oh,
Yep.
So
wow.
funny.
And another thing we're going to talk about is different streamers streaming and working as instructors at these conventions and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
we have, so Lynn, just to get into it right away, why don't you let us know who you are? Tell us about yourself a little bit, who you are as a streamer and what got you streaming.
Well, I'm Lynn. I own Metalhead Minis, which was established in 2009. Do miniature painting, consignment, and hobby classes. And on Twitch, we're Metalhead Minis, all one word. And what got me started as a streamer is that I'm very used to being on the camera. I've grown up in entertainment, and I love teaching. And I figured that streaming is a good opportunity and way to interact with people who follow you, my students and things like that, so that they can ask me questions even in between classes and things like that. So it just makes it easy to do that, or just easy to just hang back. And some people are so intimidated to talk to other painters, and doing streaming things like this just helps people see we're people too. We go food shopping like everyone else, pay a mortgage like everyone else.
We also breathe. It's amazing.
Yeah, breathe. Right.
I heard breed for a second, not breathe. I was getting concerned. I was like, it's not
There's
that kind of podcast.
Too.
We're all parents.
Yeah.
So also a true statement then.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
see, we're all parents and stuff. So yes, that's.
And I'm bridging a gap today because not only usually it's two gamer dads, myself and Joe, but now the metalheads outweigh the gamer dads. But I'm kind of both, so I bridge the gap here. I'm creating wonderful groups of intertwining people.
It's a community. It's what it's
I'm
all
an
about.
ambassador. That's what it is.
It's all about.
Yeah. So, Lynn, can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with your name?
I've been a musician my whole life, and I've been into metal since I was very little. And I've always been a metal musician. Actually, I could play other music too, but because the way I was taught with music is that if you want to be a great musician, you have to know how to do all genres, not just your favorite one.
Yep.
So, but I've been a metal musician primarily. I play progressive metal, symphonic metal, and melodic death metal. So metalhead, and then I paint minis. So yeah, it took a while to come up with it, but I was trying to think. Also, when I started painting minis, models only came in like lead and beryllium, and they were made of metal. So it just kind of tied it all together.
It all fits.
Like Metalhead Minis. Like, all right, cool.
You're a lot like me. I started playing piano when I was about 7 years old. And then I picked up guitar.
I was 6, yeah. I was 6.
And I stopped playing piano
I played
about
it
a week
all.
later.
I was in bands and all kinds of things. But that was something that my guitar teacher taught me. Because, when I started playing guitar, I was like, dude, teach me Metallica. I want to learn some Slayer, this, that. You got to learn some Beatles. How about we do some House of the Rising Sun or something? Some B. King. And then we'll get into the faster stuff. Okay.
Yep. And even people sometimes get surprised when you sit there and say, like, with progressive metal, because you hear Dream Theater and Maiden and stuff, and there's and the roots of Dream Theater, for example, is jazz and blues.
Yep. That's a root
and they
of
all have
metal.
doctorates in music too. Yeah. So I mean, it's like it was like what jazz, blues, yeah, and that's why you have to learn all that stuff.
Yep.
And like with symphonic metal too, what's great about it is musicians are all classically trained and the singers are opera trained.
Yeah.
So
There's
I
some
could
big
sing
ones.
anything from death metal to opera.
Very cool. Very
Oh
cool.
Yeah,
wow.
my grandmother was a singer too. So yeah, that's the first instrument that I did. I've been singing since I was 2.
If I ever
So-
make it out to a con near you, I'll buy you a beer and make you belt out some notes.
Oh my God, no! I go through that all the time. Every time it's karaoke, she can sing. Go up there, go up there. And, you know, every time there's a rock band party, I never get left alone. I'm just like,
Well, I wouldn't go that far. So
rock band parties are fun though.
what keeps you motivated to stream on Twitch or on any of your platforms? Because we'll get into that in a little bit. And what do you love about it?
I like teaching. That's why my classes always sell out and they do good, I guess. You know, I have a lot of experience. I've been training and teaching people since I was 12 because I've also have a lot of corporate training experience and stuff. So I've been able to do that and translate that to when I teach classes. So my classes give me the ability to cater to all learning styles. Now with streaming and doing the videos, I guess it mostly caters to people who are visual and auditory learners. But still, you know, when it comes down to it, and when they see me at a con, at least they know by my personality that they can come to me and learn how to do the hands-on part of it, you know, or go to one of my classes and they know they'll learn something. So it's helpful in that regard too. So it allows me to reach out to the public and teach them stuff or share something with them, because when I go to events, I share that with the public too, because I know there's some people that can't afford to go to cons or just physically can't for health reasons or too many obligations, or their job makes them work like a bajillion hours a week for 12 cents an hour or something. I don't know. But like it just lets me share stuff with people. And I love that. I'm very passionate about the hobby and you know, just as passionate as I was when I worked in the music industry before the music industry became what it is now. But man, when I worked in the music industry, man, it was just great because I always wanted to share music with everybody. And I'm still like that too. But with the gaming industry, I can have that same kind of passion and share it with everybody. So that's what I like about
Well,
it.
anybody who's met you either in person or online can definitely like feel that passion just burning right through the screen or you know, it's electric. It really is. Like I don't know. Duff, you and I have both had classes with Lynn before, so I mean, you could definitely.
Absolutely.
It's
2.
Lucky you.
One
You've
in
had
person
2?
and one by video.
Okay.
And both I learned a lot from. In
That's
fact,
right. You did a one. Yeah, you both did one-on-one with me.
there's my mini from Adepticon.
She got boobs.
Was that the flesh class?
Yeah, I took the skin tones and faces and
Yep.
eyes. Yep.
I might have gotten an abbreviated sneak peek of that, didn't I?
Yeah, it was a good class. I enjoyed it very, very much.
Yep.
I try to
So
make it fun.
you are all over the place though, right? You're all over all forms of social media. You've got YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and you're at all these conventions.
And Tumblr and Instagram.
Yeah.
Everything.
How tough is that to manage?
Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, there's about 3 of us that manage it.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, I do. But what makes it easier is that I have apps set up where it schedules my posts.
Okay.
And that helps make my life a lot easier.
But
and there's a calendar
Right.
and stuff like that, so everything's all organized and scheduled.
But you or somebody else still has to go and create it and schedule it, right?
Yeah, it's like if one of the others sit there and remember, oh yeah, we got to post about this, then it'll get put up or whatever. But most of the time I do it. I'm pretty on top of it. The only time that usually other people have to be involved, unless it's like because I'm busy, for example, getting ready for GenCon or something like that, because like July is insane. Getting ready for GenCon and then getting ready for ReaperCon and stuff like that. So then, you know, that's one of the times that there needs to be a little more help getting stuff out and done. And when I'm at a convention also. So but other than that, that's what I do. Everything's always scheduled. There's like apps that I use such as Buffer, and it sits there and it schedules the posts and it spews it out on Facebook, on Twitter, and whatever on the Instagram one. Kind of sucks. I wish you were able to do it with Instagram, but for some reason with Instagram you just can't. Not even on like, if I remember right, on Hootsuite or whatever. Because yeah, I don't know why, but Instagram, it doesn't let you. However, what Buffer does do is you can schedule the post. You can create it ahead of time, and then what it does is it sends you a reminder and says, hey, do your Instagram post, stupid. And then you go in there and do the copy and paste thing, and then you put it up. So I mean, that's like the closest it does for that. But I wish it would just post on Instagram, but for some reason it just can't.
Yeah, Hootsuite dropped that several months ago. It used to be really, really good, but there's just some. I think it might be I wonder if it has anything to do with Facebook. I don't know, but because Facebook's got an integration that might work occasionally to let you make a Facebook post and then put that Facebook post on your Instagram. I don't know. It's definitely a lot of work. So you said Buffer is the name.
Yeah, Buffer is one of the ones that I use, and then Facebook allows you to schedule posts. So, for example, say with the GenCon page, how it sat there and did the meet your instructors. Like I was able to sit there, type them all up ahead of time, have them schedule at different times of the day for like weeks ahead, or just different ones for weeks ahead, and it'll just spew out when I need it to. And then YouTube, you can schedule your videos ahead of time for up to, I think it's 6 months.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, we've used that feature on the Hobby Spot before. We schedule a post for noon, and then we're sleeping, working, doing whatever, and boom, it pops up. It's really convenient to use that feature.
Yeah, if you utilize it.
Yeah, and I've used Hootsuite, but I've only used the free version of Hootsuite, which allows you to set up like 3 accounts, and you can never change them. Like you're stuck. If you have to add anything different, they want the monies.
I was gonna say, is that a feature in the paid version? You can switch them.
Yes. Is it Hootsuite?
Yeah, you can
I
switch
think
them,
it's
and you
Hootsuite.
can do up to 10 accounts.
Yeah. So
cool.
But yeah, but if you were to do this solo, would you be able to manage all this if you didn't have it? It sounds like it would definitely put a little bit of effort into it, though.
Yeah, I would just have to change the schedule around a little bit more, but it could be done.
Why don't we, if you want to, why don't we give a shout out to the rest of your team?
Yeah.
Who else do you work with?
You mean like company wise, or like who
No,
else is in
like
crew?
who's in your crew of Metalhead Minis?
Oh, well, there's me, there's Nesta, there's Ashley, there's Craig, there's Will. Yeah, so it's that's basically the immediate group of us, and then we have some other people that occasionally come in and work with us to do stuff. We still give a shout out to Brandon and stuff. Brandon taught for us, but he has like some life stuff going on. But we still give a shout out to Brandon, and yeah, that's about it right now. But yeah, we have other people that work with us. At times, like for example, we have Duff teaching at GenCon with us this year. So shout out to Duff. Yeah.
Who's that guy?
So we have extended family too. That's what we call them. But yeah, we have a really good, like a family. We always laugh. We have a good time and stuff like that. We watch weird things on Netflix, such as the ABCs of Death while processing orders.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw it, but it's really weird.
No, I have not.
I've seen it. It's pretty good.
Not a family-friendly movie. Don't watch it. There's like 2 of them or something.
So speaking of your business, and you alluded to a little bit of your classworks, what more does Metalhead Minis do? I know you've got all the different YouTube videos and stuff like that, but you've got your own website. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about that as well?
Well, I do commission miniature painting for multiple companies and clients all over the world, and we have a consignment store. And but the way the consignment store has grown, it's like at the point where there's different departments for it. Like in our consignment store, GW, for example, has its own department, and we'll mostly post stuff up on eBay when we have stuff in. But we also develop this large network of clients that when something comes in, we just have to direct message them and say, hey, you were waiting on this came in, and then it's bought. So that's why sometimes you won't see stuff up on eBay. Occasionally you'll see stuff get sold on its own on Facebook, hey, for sale, this. And if I think it'll sell faster that way, we do that. On Facebook group pages where applicable, stuff like that. And also the hobby classes. The hobby classes are a business in itself as well. Not just at conventions, but also doing them at local gaming stores. And there's also travel packages that we do with that too. So.
Okay.
So you would come out to, say, a local gaming store and put on a couple-hour class or even a 2-day or something like that?
Yeah, and then the ones that are out of state, like, for example, if you wanted one in Michigan,
Detroit.
whatever,
Yep.
So then there's a package where you have to get together like at least 10 or 12 people in order to cover costs and whatever else. And then you pay this one rate per person, and they pick 3 classes. And
Very
sometimes depending on and then if you want additional classes, it's an extra X amount per class.
Right.
And it still includes all the stuff, if it's a miniature painting class, you get a mini. If it's a basing class, you're going to have a base, and, and green stuff if it's the intermediate one, and blah, 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 stuff like that. So it's really pretty cool.
Now, is this your full-time job? Or I know a lot of traveling artists do hold full-time jobs completely out of the hobby.
Yeah, I just have another full-time job in the morning. And because I'm rebuilding my retirement savings and stuff. But yes, this is my full-time job, and I have a logistics job that I do in the mornings, and it's a corporate job that I just do just because I wanted to do something that had to do with one of my degrees. And then also I just figured I'm going into my 40s, and you start getting to an age where you're just like, well, you never know. I'm not going to be able to paint forever. Like that's something realistically that I know, and that goes for any of us, because eventually your eyes go, eventually I might get arthritis or, something like that. And I mean, I have a family to take care of, so I can't sit there and just be like, oh, I'm going to paint forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm very good with money. I save money, everything's taken care of. Nobody needs or wants for anything, but I want to keep it that way. So I just make sure. And then also too, my house is designed with, there's living and then there's the workspace. Like this is one of the workspaces here. This is one whole big thing over here. And then there's another big thing on the other side of the house. And it's like, I have it, but I can't, if I'm in the house 24/7, I'm going to lose my mind. I can't sit still. I always got to be doing something and moving and going. So that's why I do something else in the mornings too.
Right on.
So, with the business and with the classes that you do, right? You go to a lot of conventions. So we'll get into GenCon specifically, but what's it like for you at a convention? I would imagine it's kind of hard to be just a guest at a convention, to go around and enjoy a lot of the scenes. I would imagine you're kind of busy, right? You running
I'm always busy. Yeah. I'm always busy. I'm always going. And usually the only time people get to catch me is late at night usually or something. And I get up at the crack of asses, so I mean, like, there's no way I could sit there and, I can't hang like that no more. That o'clock in the morning going, no, I'm too old. I can't be doing none of that no more. I'm like 9 o'clock. I'm like,
good night.
I'm like,
I'll see you in 3 hours.
I ain't playing no more. I'm like, nah. But actually, that's what I like. But some conventions, it is easier for me to have time to talk to people than others. Adepticon is one of them. Adepticon, it's a little easier for me to have a little time here and there to talk to people. And ReaperCon, I try to make sure that I'm not doing too much working so that I have time to sit and do stuff, because that's one of the few cons that I can. But like GenCon, if you're trying to sit there and you want to have an hour to sit and talk with me, you're tripping. You ain't getting that out of me at GenCon. Like 80, I work like 75, 80 hours throughout the whole weekend at GenCon. You ain't getting no hour with me. You better, if you need to have a talk with me, you better either be sitting in the stall next to me while I pee or something, because you are not getting a good amount of time to talk to me.
You can get like 5 minutes when we bring a coffee over to you or something like that. Like, here, Lynn, here's a coffee. How you doing today? Okay, bye.
Starbucks,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Love you. Bye. Yeah. I mean, a few seconds here and there, but every time people will tell you when they see me at GenCon, they're like, yeah, I saw her for like 30 seconds. She was like whizzing by me to go teach a class or whizzing by me to go fix this issue. Yeah. I'm extremely busy at GenCon, busier than any other show. Hands down.
That for those doing the math, it's a 4-day con. She said 70 to 80 hours. That's a 20-hour work.
I do like 70. Well, no, my work week for GenCon, like it starts Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's not Thursday.
We got to do all the prep and setup, etc.
Right. Okay. And that's not counting the fact that I leave on Tuesday to drive there.
Ooh.
And I have to drive because of how much I have to bring. It's a 17-hour drive now. When I lived in Dallas, it was 14. Now it's 17 hours. But yeah,
I feel guilty because I'm in Detroit. It's a 4-hour drive, and I'm like looking at flights, going,
"Ooh,
I should take a flight."
I don't know. Like even my husband will tell you, I'm like something else on the road. Like I just sit there and I'll drive straight through. What I do is I drive straight through until I'm about. Because our hotel rooms are not ready until Wednesday afternoon. So I can't go there Tuesday night. Otherwise, I would drive all the way through and just get my hotel room. But what I do is I drive until I'm about an hour and a half away, because that's when the hotels start getting crowded up and booked. That's like the last point in I guess the line on the road, I guess you could say, where I can get a hotel room before it's to the point where it's sold out all over. Get a hotel room, sleep, and then go to Starbucks and go the rest of the way. And that's basically what I do.
I've got family that'll leave like at 10 o'clock at night to make a 12, 13-hour drive, and they'll show up right before lunch the next day, I guess, because you can make better time in the middle of the night when no one's paying attention.
Oh, absolutely.
And
dude, I've learned that from when my older kids were little.
Yeah.
It's the best. I know you get used to it because, like, when my older kids were little, you know what sucks? Driving on the road with multiple small children.
I don't disagree. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough when it's just one.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do it with 3. Okay, so I learned real quick how to roll on this. You pick them up from school. If it's a weekend, you make sure that they're helping you out cleaning the house. You make them run their butts off everywhere. Oh, yeah, you want to go to the park? Go crazy. Then you sit there and you feed them a heavy meal. Like for dinner, we're going to have chicken Alfredo. Oh. Yeah. And they think you're best mom ever. But what you're doing is you're making sure they sleep like rocks.
Cook them a turkey dinner.
To pee every 45 minutes. Okay. Oh. Or need any snack when they see a light up sign for McDonald's or Arby's or whatever, you know? So you sit there, you feed them a heavy meal.
Please, Mom, don't give me more food.
Right? Yeah. Oh, you want more? Yeah. And I grew up Italian culture, so they won't question nothing. No. Of course, I'm going to pinch you and say you're not eating enough. Of course, I'm going to keep feeding you food. You know, they're none the wiser. Then you put them in a nice hot bath, and then the warmth makes them tired, and you put them in their comfy jammy jams. Oh, you want your blanket, baby? Here, get your blanket. Go in the car. It's all right, baby. Go in the car. Take your favorite pillow. Yes. And then they're passed out, and then that's when you make a fight for it, and then nobody bothers you for 6 to 8 hours, and you get nice and far, and then you're just far enough that you won't sit there and be like when they sit there and ask to pee. And that's how you do it.
Wow.
And that's the church of raising children and traveling.
It's the
church. So I guess you've given us a little bit of an idea of what's different for GenCon compared to other conventions for you, because it's your busiest, right? What are you doing at GenCon that keeps you so busy? Like, I know you're doing classes, but what else do you have going on?
I do classes, and I run all of the miniature painting-related events. The paint and take, the painting competition, the painting classroom, and everything that has to do with all that. So yeah, it's very busy. Lots of fun.
So you were pretty much everything behind the mini painting stuff, almost, aren't you?
Yep.
Wow. And does the rest of the Metalhead group help out, or is it you?
It's me and Nesta and Matt this year.
Okay. So if you guys are at GenCon, have a hot Starbucks waiting. What's your favorite order for Starbucks?
Oh, I get a iced venti cold brew with sugar-free cinnamon dolce and heavy cream.
All right.
Because I'm on keto,
English,
so no sugar.
So if you go to Starbucks, you know what that is. Have one of those waiting. You'll get like 30 seconds for her to say thank you, and you can say hi to Lynn, and then she can breeze on by to the next part of her events.
Yeah. Right? Okay, love you, bye.
So this is going to be the interesting part where I get to turn the interview on both of you. I don't think Duff was expecting this.
Nope.
But as an instructor, right? Because you're going to be doing classes, and apparently you brought Duff in to do some classes.
Mm-hmm.
What's that going to be like for Duff? You want to give him a little heads up on what to expect?
Teach me, teach.
It's gonna be busy.
Is Duff going to get to enjoy any of the con?
Yeah, he should be able to. He'll enjoy a lot. He'll have time to enjoy a lot more than I would. So I mean, but I've done Gen Con for so many years. I mean, I don't honestly feel like I miss out really on anything anymore, you know? So yeah, I'm used to it and what have you. But yeah, Gen Con is the largest gaming convention in North America.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, it really is. The classes are very busy, but I do make sure that everything is done in such a way where things are streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Duff is teaching with us this year because another part, actually part of our extended family, like I said, is Scott Warren from Assassin Studios and Soaru Studios. I think it's Soaru Studios. I forgot how you say it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's an extremely talented artist, and he also teaches for us too. And Scott isn't able to make it this year because he has family stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So Duff is going to be with us. And then who knows? I mean, if this really works out, we could sit there and even expand on the Metalhead Minis crew part of classes and stuff like that, and then have 4 of us teaching. Why not? You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be out of the question, you know?
I just heard audition.
Right? But I mean, no, people know I don't play and I don't skimp when it comes to quality with teaching. There's definitely a standard. I keep the standard consistent no matter what convention I'm teaching at, but especially at Gen Con, there's really an expectation just in general with all of it, you know? But yeah, basically, no, teaching at Gen Con, in all honesty, it's a lot of fun. You'll make really good money because you have a great personality. You entertain people, and that's why I knew to hire you. So basically, you'll like it. It's really good. It's going to be tiring. That I can promise you.
Yeah,
it's going to be tiring, but you're going to feel like it was worth it. So that I can promise you.
It was. I've already told you multiple times how excited I am, and it was an absolute shock and an honor to be invited. I, like you said, I try to entertain. I just be myself, tell stories. I mean, I don't admit it quite often, but I am Italian as well. Even with a name like Neil Duffy, I'm actually Irish. But,
yeah, you're Italian and Irish. Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, my Italian family, holy crap, can they tell stories? And Irish people are just entertaining. So I guess that's where I get it from, right?
What it sounds like is you're going to go from being super excited to doing this, when right before you're going to get super anxious to do this. And then when you're doing the class, you can be like, I hate you so much for making me do this. And then when you're done, you're going to be like, I love you so much for letting me do this. I think it's going to be that whole roller coaster.
The only aspect I'm going to have.
I always love it the whole time. I mean, like I said, by the time Sunday comes, shit.
Yeah, that's why I'm not going home till Monday.
Huh?
That's why I'm not going home till Monday.
Yeah, right. No, I don't blame you. Yeah, when it comes to by the time Sunday comes, I'm exhausted. Mm-hmm. I need like all the help I can get. Starbucks, don't fail me, man.
I drank so much Starbucks at Adepticon. Like I told my wife how many times I went to Starbucks, and she's like, that's more coffee than you drink in the entire year. I basically drink like 4 cups of coffee a year, and that's usually from October to December, which also happens to be hunting season. And I'm getting up at 3 in the morning. So
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I probably had 2 to 3
Mm.
iced whatever sugary caffeine triple Yenti or whatever you called it.
He said Yankees.
Probably 3 a day.
He
I
said
don't know what
Yankees.
they're called. It was a
Oh.
large.
You know, give me a yen. I can imagine him now at the Starbucks line. Give me a Yentl
He's
coffee with
oh.
a bunch of sugar and this and that and that and this. And
so
yeah.
down here in the South, we say, "Oh, bless his heart."
Jesus.
Uh,
Bible belters.
I've been around the South long enough to know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One day I'll have to tell you what "okay, great" means when someone says that.
No,
It's something I
think
cannot say on camera.
Oh, okay. Then you're gonna have to PM that.
What, like in North Carolina, in
Yeah.
comparison to other southern states, you mean, or?
Yeah, so if you're having like, I've just been told that kind of the running Southern joke here is if you're having a conversation and sometimes people acknowledge, you'll hear, "Oh, okay, great," and there's some context there.
Wonderful.
Oh, so is it the same as it's the same as the corporate version. Gotcha. No problem. Gotcha.
Have a nice day.
That the corporate. That's the corporate. That yeah. I get you.
For everybody else listening in, they're like, "What did I just miss?" I put it in our private chat where we keep notes on the podcast.
I know. I was just like, yeah, that's the corporate one. Gotcha. Cool.
It's it's the precursor of the Ron Burgundy line, the very famous Ron Burgundy line of blank blank yourself, San Diego.
Yep. And so the live chat has Googled it as well.
Yep.
So yeah, we're
Urban Dictionary. Very good.
Oh yeah, I would imagine it would be on Urban Dictionary. So Duff, what classes are you gonna be hitting up? Are you gonna have time to actually go attend classes, or are you just strictly gonna be there in a?
I am not even bothering to do that because I attended GenCon the year my son was born, 17. My wife was 7 months pregnant. I saved like a banshee for it.
Yep.
And basically made it the last man trip before fatherhood. And got in the RV, drove down with one buddy, and we knew nothing. This was my first large scale con. I'd only ever been to Detroit Comic Con, which is actually quite large, but it's not a hobby con or a gaming con.
Right.
And I didn't know anything about like pre-registering. That's big. So for anybody listening, if you're interested in doing any events, you're kind of already way behind the 8 ball here, but there are still some things available. If you pre-register for things, you're pretty much going to do what we did for 5 days, which was wander around going. We literally had no clue. We'd pop our head into a room and be like, "Anybody playing D&D?" And they're like, "No, we're teaching a class. Get the hell out." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, we're just looking for a pickup game D&D here." So we go to I basically spent, God, I'd say 8 of my hours each day just chilling in the 24-hour auction charity room, bidding on things because I didn't know you had to pre-register for stuff. So as a teacher, I'm kind of just I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna roll with the classes, and then I'll make myself available if I need to help. I heard Lynn say in the More Than Dice podcast a couple of weeks ago, she's like, if you don't get up and we're at somebody's house and you're not getting up doing the dishes, or you better believe I'm going to get your ass up and you're going to be doing dishes because you're a guest in the house. That's very Italian of you, by the way.
100%.
I plan to make my mama proud and make sure that I help out where I can. And if I'm available to go around, then obviously I'll go to the vendor hall. The vendor hall is an experience in itself.
Oh, Maron, yeah, it is.
It's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. And I was there. I had to do the full experience. So I was there right Thursday morning, 10 o'clock, doors open, front of the line, and don't run. It's an experience. If this is your first Gen Con,
it's when you repeat after them, "I will not run."
Yeah, do not run. We're chanting it. Do not run. Everybody becomes an Olympic speed walker all of a sudden. It's amazing.
Oh my God, it's hysterical. Last year was Matt's first Gen Con. Okay. And so he was thinking we were going to take turns driving.
Mhm.
So I drove. His ass was asleep in the passenger seat the whole time, and he sits there asleep. And then he would wake up, babe, I'm sorry, I keep falling asleep. I'm sorry. And then I was just like, oh no, you sleep. You're gonna need it. I
Lynn's
promise
got
you.
that
He
she's
didn't know.
driving.
He didn't know, baby. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. Okay. And then Kathy turned around and said, "Did he ever see the dealer hole bum rush?" I said, "Oh no, I'm taking him." So Kathy's like, "Yeah, let's take him." So Kathy and I took him to see the dealer hole bum rush. She's like, "Are we gonna go to the dealer hole?" I said, "Oh no. Wait. You're not gonna want to do that right now. You're gonna want to wait. Oh, but what if something sells out?" Oh, believe me, you won't care when you see what we're about to show you. And then I sat there and I showed him, and then he's like looking at the whole crowd, kind of like, what? And I was just wait, just watch. And then it happened where the door opened and he turns around and he goes, what in the world? People want to be involved in that? And then he watched the continuous sea of people. He's like, yeah, you're right. I'm just going to wait until that calms down there.
It's 60,000 people trying to get through 3 or 4 sets of doors.
Yeah.
It's
a
the
different
biggest
size
convention center I've ever seen. And I tell people all the time, I'm from Detroit. We have the biggest auto show in the world, obviously, at Cobo Hall. Cobo Hall is not a tiny convention center by any means. You could probably fit about 3 Cobo Halls in the Indianapolis Convention Center.
They
it's
expanded
insane.
it. Yeah,
Did
the
they really?
Indianapolis Convention Center expanded 30,000 square feet just for Gen Con.
Oh, wait.
That's
Are you
insane.
talking about years prior?
Huh?
When did they do that? Between 17 and now?
No, that was
Okay.
done about,
gonna
I
say.
want to say, they expanded it, I want to say about 10 or 12 years ago or something like that. They expanded it like 30,000 square feet just for Gen Con. And that's why you notice in the whole city, like restaurants do special meals for the Gen Con, make it all gamer themed and stuff, because the event Gen Con itself brings into the city of Indianapolis over something like 30 or 40 million dollars in one weekend.
They bend over backwards. Every business I went into was thanking you up and down. That city basically lives off of Gen Con. And it's not small for those of you who've never been. We're talking the giant convention center. Then on top of that, an entire NFL stadium. And we're not just saying the field, the basement, all their convention rooms, all of their boardrooms. The entire basement is basically a LARP of D&D. And then on top of that, there's 10 hotels. All of that encompasses the one convention.
It's expanding this year, too.
I've never been. I need to go.
I'm telling you, man, I've had this conversation with multiple people. I've been prodding Flick for about 3 months now, just telling him, I don't care if people tell you, you have to experience this once in your lifetime.
It's an experience. I mean, honest to God, it's not just a convention. Like that event is seriously an experience.
And it's
that's
for
the only way you can truly explain it.
It's literally, it's video games, it's tabletop, it's miniatures, it's role playing, it's LARPing, it's every form of gaming you could possibly ever want. That's where I fell in love with the game. Cosplay, tons of cosplay. I fell in love with Gigantic. It's kind of like a what's that, League of Legends? It's like a League of Legends meets Overwatch style video game. They just have video game rooms where you go in and they've got computers, you can play whatever you want. I mean, all kinds of things there from everybody. It's insane. And if you're any form of gamer, I guarantee you're gonna have the time of your life.
It's only a 10-hour drive.
That's a 10-hour drive for you?
Yeah. Yeah, and it I mean, I could probably fly on like Frontier or something. I have to go.
Delta from Detroit, first class, 2 ways is $450. Coach is $260. That's a cheap flight.
I have to go through West Virginia into Cincinnati and onto the Hull, but that looks That looks doable one year. Get a big old van with a bunch of dudes, bunch of friends, just roll on in.
Why not? You could sit there and carpool. People, if you turn around and you put up a post and be like, "Hey, I got 3 seats. Who wants to go on the road to Gen Con?" People got.
I'm picky about who I travel with because I used to play in Magic tournaments, and let's just say sometimes when you just hop into a local buddy's car that's going to the same tournament as you, it's not worth the free spot. It's sometimes a little awkward because some people just, when they pick you up Thursday night and when you get back on Sunday night, they've taken a shower right before they picked you up, and they will take a shower after they get back home. Got a whole weekend with a whole bunch of gamers that, bad experiences with that. So I'm
That
a
happened to
little
me.
picky.
No, that happened to me one year on the way to Gen Con. That happened to me. Yeah. Got some seats to fill. No. Let me tell you something.
I have a hygiene rule on my trips. 100%.
Yes. Some of my friends laugh at me about this, but I don't know how else to explain it. So I'm extremely meticulous, and I do have some OCD, right? And I don't know why, but smelly people make me angry.
Yeah. We won't get into it, but I got in trouble as a young man for that.
I was angry for the next 10 hours.
Oh my God.
That's something, we should touch on it. I mean, it's part of convention culture.
Yeah. Con plague is a thing.
You need to take some form of bathing ritual, whatever your choice is, every day of convention, even if it's an issue for you, because you may not be aware of it, but there are 65,000 other people at this convention.
There's more.
It can be very, very, very offensive.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I did get in trouble for addressing it in my own way when I was about 18 at a local gaming store. I wish I could go back, relive that, and take it back. I won't say what I did, but there are also ways for us who are offended by it to deal with it without being, how shall I put it?
An asshole?
Thank you. That's what I wanted to say, and I was trying to get around it. We also have to consider certain cultural aspects, certain religious aspects of other people attending that we may not be aware of.
You could smell the difference, though.
Oh, I know.
I know what you're talking about, and there is a difference. Like if they have to wear certain oils, whatever, you smell the difference. Okay. Yeah. But here's the thing too. It's not even just about the offensive aspect and our culture type deal. In all honesty though, health-wise, when you don't bathe, you're honestly leaving yourself to be even more susceptible to getting very sick.
Absolutely.
I mean, can the cleanest person get sick? Yeah, sure. But I mean, but when you sit there and you don't bathe and get like all the oils and the, stuff off of you, you're leaving yourself susceptible to get much sicker, actually. Yeah. And you can actually leave yourself more susceptible to getting things such as like, what is it called? Foot and mouth disease, hand, foot, and mouth disease. Yeah, hand, foot, and mouth disease and stuff like that. Yeah. But if you clean yourself, you're helping yourself to be a little safer. Washing your hands when you go to the bathroom, using hand sanitizer, bathing, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't, you can end up, and hand, foot, and mouth disease, man, that ain't no joke. That takes months to go away.
It kills children. I have a 1.5-year-old, and that's one of the most deadly diseases for a child to pick up.
I mean, like when I travel, and I don't travel very often, but when I do travel away from the home, and I come home, the first thing that my wife asked me to do is change out of all of the clothes that I've been traveling in. My bag doesn't even come into the bedroom. It goes into another room where my wife and kid don't go. I mean, so like I was on an airplane, and I actually got a little bit of like the airplane crud from being close quarters with people, passing germs and stuff like that. And, I walked straight into the master bathroom, completely changed all my clothes. They went right away into the wash and all that. I mean, I got home at 11 o'clock at night, and all that was just out of here because it's no joke. Now imagine multiply that 1,000,000 times over from people who don't shower, and it is a problem. I mean, like I don't even feel comfortable. Like if I sleep in on a Saturday and it's like lunchtime and I have not showered yet, I feel gross. Like I'm trying to understand. I know some people don't like to shower daily. I know that there are skin issues that prevent you from this, that,
And
and the other
that's
thing.
fine.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some reasonable level of personal care that shows at least some self-worth in yourself. Do something to make sure that you take care of yourself and, quite honestly, the others around you, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. There's dry shampoo. There's deodorant that's unscented and hypoallergenic. Like, in all seriousness, and there's baby powder.
Yeah.
Like, in all seriousness, there's no excuses.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just I brought my Axe body spray
No,
and
God.
some moist towelettes.
Bleh.
Oh my God.
I've seen somebody actually take like baby wipes and just kind of, rub under and then spray and poof, I'm clean. Like, no, you're not. That's gross.
One of my boys used to be obsessed with using Axe. So much so that my other boy called it ass. He's spraying ass on himself again.
Oh, God.
Funny, I teenage shower and you literally basically just explained it. That's it.
In New York, we call it an Italian shower when you sit there and douse yourself in cologne or Axe or whatever.
Yeah,
call it
my
an
grandma
Italian
just
shower.
passed away, and bless her, my family. Wow, I mean that wake was pungent.
Very golden too. All the gold
of
jewelry coming out.
Yeah, it was. I always get a kick out of my Italian
suits?
family. Always.
The velour tracksuits.
The tracksuits. My family does have mafia ties, but there's no tracksuits. So, thank God. I really sharply dressed gentlemen. Obviously, the older ladies are always
they kick it old school.
Layers of bling. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've got a skinny tie for my grandfather who was off the boat.
Yeah.
So, they don't mess around when you
No.
No. So, all right, what else do we have? What else can we expect at GenCon, right? So we've got classes, you've got the dealer hall. I mean, all these rooms filled up. What other kind of fun things might people get into there?
Oh God, I mean, in
just
all
a few
honesty,
things. I know there's a ton.
No, there's everything there. I mean, so that like on my end, we have paint and take, we have classes, we have the painting competition, we have there's so much different stuff that you could do. You could even there's belly dancing classes that happen there. There's classes where you can learn how to make dice bags out of dragon scale. There's knitting and crocheting classes. There's
cosplay classes. People teach cosplay
to make
classes
cosplay.
Cooking. I saw cooking classes.
Is there going to be like so you know how TwitchCon had the Creative Alley or something like that? Do you think is there going to be like a creative vendor area specific?
There's an artist alley.
A couple of
artist alley. Thank you.
There's an artist alley in the vendor hall, and it's a nice one too. Like you guys should totally check authors there and stuff. It's really nice. I like it. I think there's a lot of good stuff there. The only thing that I feel so bad about is that I know getting a booth at GenCon is so expensive.
And do you really ever make your money back on that booth?
I don't have to worry about having a booth. I'm all over the place. If I had a booth, when am I going to be there?
No, I meant a vendor in general. Do they stand a good chance?
Truthfully, I mean,
I know some can.
I mean, you definitely can. A lot of the vendors that are there are the good ones, the ones that make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we know Badger always sells out on stuff. And then Badger and Blackheart, they share a booth. So that's advantageous to the both of them. And then, and actually the artists that are there, at Artist Alley mostly, are artists who have done art for like World of Warcraft and Magic the Gathering and, and stuff like that. So there's like big, some big name artists there. But I mean, I would say that for the most part, the big booths definitely could make their money back. But I know that the expense for them to get there and stuff, I know was tremendous because I'll tell you God's honest truth. I used to work for Reaper, right? When I worked for Reaper, and this was years ago, mind you, 10 or 11 years ago, I think I remember their conversation that their cost to go to Gen Con when they were doing Gen Con. And they had a center booth in the center there. Okay. I think if I remember right, just them alone, like their cost to go and do Gen Con and have the booth and everything, that was 25 grand. Their cost on doing everything for Gen Con. That's 25 grand. Just to give you an idea. So
Duff, the paint pit can start saving.
Huh?
We'll aim for 2021. We'll have a booth there.
Yeah, center booth.
I have heard though. This is hearsay. I've talked to a few people that are large companies when I was there. They did mention that like the Entrepreneurs Alley is a discounted booth.
Okay.
The Art and Authors Avenue, not so much. That's still the same thing. But there was I could just say, Her Starts. I got into Her Starts when I was there because I went as a D&D player. This was prior to my rebirth into miniature painting. This is actually what sparked my rebirth into miniature painting after a 16-year break. But I was talking to Bruce Hurst, and myself, I dropped $300 on an entire dungeon set of Hurst Arts molds. I mean, and how many of me were at that show, and other people that were buying multiple.
Absolutely.
You know, so he definitely made his money back. There are some big names that have a small booth. You know, I call them big names. They're big names for us in the more alternative miniature gaming type thing. But you'll see your Games Workshops, you'll see your Weirds, you'll see miniature brands, but they're the big ones. But obviously the big board game studios like Fantasy Flight, Upper Duck, what is it, Paizo? I don't know how you say it. Paizo. Their booths are insanely huge. You know, they're paying hundreds, even $100,000.
No, they definitely pay in the thousands. Those big booths, they definitely pay in the thousands, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, I know that doing that convention it's quite an expense. I mean, you know what? Like, even just to go, like, to be honest with you, the fact that I work that convention literally saves me. And the fact that because I work it and run everything, my hotel room is taken care of, my badge is taken care of and stuff, that right there saves me like $1,000.
Yeah.
Just me. I'm not talking about Matt or, you know, and Nestor, because usually for our employees, pay for everything for them when they travel too. So, I mean, but just me alone, you know, just example, person kind of deal, that saves me $1,000 right there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And then my Starbucks and then eating and, you know, whatever. I don't eat that much anymore since I've been on keto, but like, but, you know, or even just food in general, the average person, they go out to eat, they're spending what per person, like $20-$30 going out like that. And then drinking, because, you know, after you deal with people, you got to drink, you know. So then
or sometimes in order to deal with people.
Right. You know, you're just like, oh, are you drinking vodka? Shut up.
So it sounds like it's an experience to behold for people that are working it for the first time, like Duff, for people that are going to it for their first time, like me one day. Maybe 2020, maybe 2021, I might make an appearance and try and go as a visitor or something like that. I want to go for sure. I've been asked by one of my buddies every year, hey man, tickets are going on sale, let's go. We'll get rooms. We're gonna go every year, and he meets his brother who's up in Maryland, and my buddy's down here in North Carolina. They'll go every single year. It's like a ritual, and I want to go so bad, but every year there's always something that pulls me away from it. So 1 year, you know, I can start planning a year in advance now. A lot of stuff is becoming easier now that my little one is getting big enough that, you know, she's mobile, she's off on her own, so, you know, she'll be in preschool soon enough, and it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll be really cool when you can bring your kids and everything too. Bringing your kids to Gen Con is really awesome too.
Yeah, my wife and I have always talked about that.
Yeah.
When's the appropriate age? We're probably gonna start bringing him to different local cons when he's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing it when she's out of the nap time, because nap times get very awkward. Right now, she is completely
nap time and diapers.
Yeah, she's completely unmanageable if the nap time gets missed or thrown off so hard. Because she's kind of got a little bit of my Italian spunk and a little bit of my wife's little like Polish in nature behind her. So this kid is a fireball. love her to death. She's a super sweetheart, but she's got some sass. And
She's gonna pick up that farm girl independence too from your wife.
not going to. Has.
No,
She's
already has.
Yeah, I do it by myself. I do it by myself, Daddy. That's what I hear from her all the time. So, but yeah, and I would love to get involved in different aspects of it. You know, and I think I know some people that I might talk to if they, you know, I just want to get involved in these things and have a reason to be around all of it. I think I'm super excited about it. 1 year. I'll do Adepticon 1 year. I'll do GenCon a different year. I don't think I can manage both in 1 year. I think I would probably be just worn out. That's too much vacation time to eat up for everything else.
Amateur.
Maybe I'll work my way into it though. I'll build up that endurance.
We got to get you to some of these cons, man.
I will. Yeah. Well, I'm planning. I want to try and go to the Raleigh SuperCon, or what I think it's a different name now. But it's a big one. It's North Carolina's biggest. It's almost like a Comic-Con, I think.
What is it?
Is it called GalaxyCon now? Is Raleigh SuperCon?
There's so many conventions now. Like in all seriousness, there's now so many conventions. I don't even know how I keep up half the time. I don't even know sometimes when some of the cons are. I'm like sitting there. I gotta look at our schedule. What's the next con again? You know
I was just Googling that. Like I Googled miniature cons, miniature painting cons, just to try and get an idea. Because this is something that I want to keep doing, teaching and moving on to the next con.
But it's here in Raleigh in July. If anybody's in Raleigh in July, there's a big one. And there's quite a few celebrities that'll be here. I got to go to NC Comic-Con, I want to say 3 years ago. GalaxyCon, I think is GalaxyCon Raleigh is what it's called now. I got to meet John Barrowman. So for those of you who watch Arrow or Doctor Who or what's the show? He had a spin-off show from that. So it was a lot of fun. I want to go this year again. But that's the biggest I've been to. For now.
And that's until I went to Gen Con 2017. Same thing. I mean, Motor City Comic Con is quite a decent Comic Con. It's becoming a destination. People are flying in from all over.
Is that what it's called? It's good.
Motor City Comic Con.
Motor City,
It just happened this past weekend. But they had some really big names. Speaking of Doctor Who, David Tennant was there.
I love him.
What's her name? Rose. She was supposed to be there. This
Billy Piper.
Yeah, Billy. She was supposed to be there, but she had to cancel. But we had like Nev Campbell was there, Charlie Hunnam, and what's his name that plays Opie on Sons of Anarchy, and he's Alpha or Beta.
Oh, I love him. He was at Fan Expo. Yeah.
So we're here, and they did like a fancy yoga class, and like the Fonz was there. There were just tons of people. We usually have about a quarter to half of the Walking Dead cast shows up. 1 year it was like all the big names except for Andrew Lincoln. So it's growing. And then we've got a second Comic-Con in August that's even bigger.
Yeah.
That it's these local Comic-Cons are becoming huge, and it's because of the comic book movies, basically.
Yeah. So
I welcome it. It's amazing.
So I'm looking this up now. Raleigh SuperCon is now called GalaxyCon. And this year, it's in the end of July. This year, they have Richard Dean Anderson, John Cleese, Mike Coulter, so that's Luke Cage, Tim Curry, John Cusack.
Oh, Tim Curry, really?
Felicia Day.
Yeah, she was here this past weekend too.
Yeah, she had a baby she had a baby, what was it, 2 years ago she had Calliope?
Summer Glau's going to be here. I'm going. That's it. Done. Bye. Later.
I can't believe Tim Curry.
Yeah. Meatloaf.
Meatloaf going to make it? Because he's supposed to be here this past weekend, but he had another fall, and he had to cancel.
Not sure, but he's
slated on
there.
Fell again.
Yeah.
Hurt himself pretty good.
Oh, so this one's going to be slammed because even Will Wheaton will be there.
Yeah. That sounds like a good one. What are the dates for that for anybody listening?
So that's going to be July 25th through 28th, and that's going to be, I think it's in the Raleigh Convention Center. I don't know the exact venue. I can look. Not directly in my face.
Is Tim Curry still alive?
Yeah, convention center.
Yeah, but he's gone through. I think he had multiple strokes or something. He's had some rough issues in the past where people were worried that hey, he might not be here very long. But he made a rebound too recently. I did see that.
Oh, so good for him.
It's shocking to see that he's out there, but that's also refreshing. He's such an icon.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that were at Fan Expo that I went to a few weeks ago, and there was some of the Stranger Things, cast was there, and Summer Glau was there, and Momoa Samoa, and yeah, that's I can't call him anything else anymore.
I have no idea who that is.
Samoa. And there was, oh my God, there were so many people. It was crazy. Even Pamela Anderson was there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
So one of the things that they're trying to do for the GalaxyCon is having a Rocky Horror Picture Show reunion. That's why you're hearing a lot of the names. So
I was not a big fan of it, but I appreciate it for its massive weight on the world of film and of musicals.
Oh yeah,
but there's so much out there. There's cons all over the place, and Comic Cons are just jumping up out of nowhere.
Everywhere.
So, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we could go on all night talking about all the different conventions. I'm sure we could, but
there's so many.
Yeah. Well, Lynn, I think we're gonna wrap up here. Why don't you go ahead and tell us again where we can find you on the internet?
If you go on metalheadminis.com, right at the top of each page has all the icons, which takes you to the link to all of our socials. That's like the easiest way I could tell you. Go on metalheadminis.com and everything's all there.
And for those who are watching us record here on Twitch, and drop your Twitch schedule real quick.
Yeah, when do you stream?
Yeah, when do you
stream? Mine. Oh, my schedule.
You're the guest. Everybody knows we're on.
About me. Sorry. So I'm usually on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings, unless it's like a holiday. Like, for example, Monday's Memorial Day. So guess what I hopefully plan to do?
Sleep.
It's my anniversary.
So I'm usually on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from 5:15 a.m. to 6:30 a.m.
Is that Eastern or Central?
Central Standard Time, and then we have Twitch Tuesday nights from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And so far, that's currently our schedule, 4 days a week.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And are you still taking online? Are you still offering online classes for people to go on your website and sign up for? So.
Yeah, they can go on the website and they can inquire, try and set an appointment and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
And so, guys, to give you some context there, basically, it's a Skype call. I've done it. Duff has done it. It's, believe me, when you first hear you do an hour session through Skype, it's like, what are we going to do? It's actually very interactive. It's very helpful. It's very useful. I mean, we were sending pictures back and forth, so the classroom does expand on it a lot more, but it's very beneficial. You can get some really quick lessons that you can learn about in one lesson. I felt like I had learned a little bit more about flesh and faces and stuff like that. I mean, I've got more work to do. We'll book again, but it is very it's a lot more helpful than somebody would think. I mean, because I know I was skeptical, and then Duff was like, dude, it was fantastic. And
we didn't even put paint in a miniature. We just talked about glazing theory. Yeah. And if you've seen my Plague Marines for my kill team, that champion, the OSL from the plasma gun, that's my first attempt at OSL. I'm pretty damn proud of that.
That's what mine and his lesson was.
Yep.
Yeah.
OSL.
I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for that class, honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, you can get classes with Lynn at the conventions that she will be at. You can also get all the information on her website. Let's see, what else we got? Any other?
Also, I was going to say, people can book at conventions. People can book in-person one-on-ones too.
There you go.
So, speaking of which, that's what I was going to ask you next. What is your next appearance? Is it GenCon, or do you have anything between now and then?
It depends right now because I'm dealing with some medical stuff and I might have to undergo some major surgery soon.
Oof.
So we're trying to see I had an MRI and stuff like that, so we're waiting to see kind of what the results are going to be of that and what that's going to be. I was going to go to the Tulsa show in a couple of weeks, but like the travel ended up being like impossible. Like I would have to drive like 10 hours to go there and be there for like a day and a half, 2 days or whatever. So it's just like, you know. But yeah, basically my next big appearance is definitely going to be Gen Con. And there are classes that I'll be teaching at stores, local game stores and stuff in between. But that's, yeah, because Gen Con, getting prep for Gen Con is seriously a very huge undertaking. And right now, the consignment store is very, very, very busy right now too.
Right.
So you're going to see a lot of auctions go up soon and stuff. We got in a huge consignment lot. It was an estate sale. One of my friends that I was in the North Texas Figure Club with passed away. So we have like a bunch of his stuff, which the money's going to help his family out, taking care of all of his affairs and stuff.
That's excellent.
Awesome.
We also obviously wish you the best of luck with the
absolutely.
surgery and everything.
No, thank you. Yeah, hopefully it won't be anything major, but so far it's looking that way. But we just got to kind of see, you know, what happens and everything. So,
Joe, how about you, bud? You got anything coming up recently? Why don't you go ahead and plug yourself?
Yeah, well, so doing something stream related this coming weekend. So the 25th for my birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, and then Memorial Day weekend, also same weekend. That Sunday night, I'll be on the TRUgaming channel. So they are a very big supporter, very big advocate of this podcast. So they will, I'll be on their channel as part of their 80+ hour charity stream.
80+, yep.
For Stack Up. So that's the big stuff this weekend. Otherwise, just more episodes next week, right?
Yep. More episodes. What about your socials, though, man? Tell people where they can find you.
I'm on Twitter, Instagram, obviously Twitch, because you guys are able to watch through here.
What's Twitch?
What's Twitch? No idea. So YouTube is actually now just GamerDad. Twitch is the underscores gamer_dad_nc. Obviously, for those listening to this after the fact. I do have a Facebook page that I'm trying to get boosted a little bit more, and that's Game Hard Dad Harder. That kind of falls into my little motto about how I run my life. And then Twitter is where I do most of my work, and that's gamerdadnc without the underscores. Instagram is the same with the underscores. And we just started Patreon, right? gamerdadnc.
Yep.
There too, trying to get some stuff for my mentor streams up and running. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. What about you, Duff? What you got?
The same spiel, man. Instagram, ImpendingDuff40K on Instagram, and Twitter, just ImpendingDuff. Facebook, ImpendingDuff. I try to do Twitter. I pretend to do Twitter. I don't know how you kids do that stuff. And of course,
you're better at IG,
started,
and I'm better at Twitter, I think, is what it is. Yeah,
100%. And of course, I'm most active on Instagram. I did just start Patreon as well, kind of focusing mine more towards teaching, beginner to intermediate type stuff. And then, of course, we have the Discord where all three of us are a major part of it, the Paint Pit, which you can find pretty much on any of my social media links. You can find the link to the Discord. Feel free to join us.
So I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. I'm Joe, or GamerDad on Twitch. And I think, so if you have any ideas, right, if you have any creative content you guys would like us to spotlight here on the podcast, let us know. You can email me at gamerdadnc@gmail. You can email Duff at ImpendingDuff40K@gmail. Get us on our social medias. Tag Twitch Creative Spotlight, the hashtag Twitch Creative Spotlight on any of the social medias you can. Anything you can do to get our attention, let us know. We're looking for any kinds of notable streamers in any kind of creative content, anywhere under Twitch art, Twitch makers and crafting, whatever. Whether it's somebody who's an instructor, somebody who does, perlers or fiber arts or sculpting, whatever you can think of. Let us know. The whole point of this podcast is to spotlight somebody each week. So this week we were fortunate enough to have Lynn, and it's been a blast. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
100%. Yeah. And that's an open invite, people. We're literally telling you, tell us what you want to hear
Absolutely.
about. So do it.
Even if
Don't
it's
be
you,
afraid.
even if you think as a listener you have something to offer for the Twitch creative space, let us know.
Yep.
Just tell us.
Yes.
Yep.
In the
If
words
you're-
of my cousin Vinny, shout it out if you know it.
How did we go this long into a podcast without you giving us a My Cousin Vinny reference? Like, how did it take this long?
I always have to quote my movie quotes.
But that was definitely always one of my one of my favorite lines in that whole. Well, what is and what is this? The timer. Good. And what is this? It's all right. Shout it out if you know it. I laugh so hard. I always giggle when I see that part.
Yep. Hey, Duff. So where can everybody find us if they're not watching us live?
Basically in the Discord, 100%.
No, we're gonna do the podcast.
Oh, if they're not watching us, I don't know. Is this a trick question?
No, of course it is.
Here.
Yeah, I did. So we're on the TRUgaming YouTube. We've got a playlist on the TRUgaming YouTube. Obviously, the VOD is stored on my personal Twitch, and every once in a while, if I have to miss a stream, we will rebroadcast the sessions. We are now on iTunes and Spotify, guys. We've confirmed that they're up there. So if you guys can, please go out to Spotify. Please go out to iTunes, subscribe. Upvote, whatever you can do to provide positive bumps to the podcast. That's how it gets it out there to be better known. And we're on Spreaker as well, which is where I upload it all and it gets spread out to. So we've got video versions, audio versions. It's out there for you for you guys to grab. So we publish Tuesdays after the podcast. So it's Wednesday night, the 22nd. That means the 28th?
The 1st.
Yeah, the 28th.
The 28th. Sorry.
We'll publish this episode out there, and then that means Wednesday the 29th we will have a new guest. So I can announce now, we do have it confirmed. Our special guests, plural, next week will be Yeji from Snickernack Studios. And ready for this? Brian from Midnight Heroes. So they're going to get on together and talk about chibis. Chibi or chibi? Which one?
Chibis.
Chibis.
I guess you could say it either way.
I've heard it both ways.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about painting them. We're going to talk about Midnight Heroes' most recent Kickstarter and future Kickstarters, and just the anime style, the cartoon style of painting them. So we're really excited to have that. And there it is, right there. Nice. That's one of my favorite ones too.
70mm Sakura.
I have 5 of them left back here behind me. Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yep, this is the one that I was painting last night while Mike and I were streaming together.
Yeah, you and Mike did a Midnight Heroes stream last night.
Yeah, we did it just for funsies. Like, we talked to each other like yesterday morning. I called him while I was driving, and he was like, "Hey, I want us to kind of paint the same thing. What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Why don't we just do Midnight Heroes?" Because I knew he had models from them and I had models from them. And we both love them, so we were just like, why not? And I was like, it gives me an opportunity to paint something that's mine.
Yeah.
Like, Sakura is mine.
And I'm gonna talk to Brian in advance. I might be able to show off some of the models from the soon to release Kickstarter because I've got a couple advanced copies. So we might be able to talk about that a little bit more. But so that's gonna do it for us. Lynn, we appreciate it again. Duff, thanks as always for being a partner here.
Always a pleasure and always a blast to talk with you, and always.
All right, we're out of here, guys. So thank you all very, very much.
Jabba